Hello and welcome to ADTV, and we start this episode, as we so often do when we're out with Phil, and that is with Phil holding a fish. So well done, Phil, you've started well already. Now, pretty small by your standards, I must say, but hopefully we're going to be catching a few pike on the river. It started pretty well, so we'll get this one slipped back, and then we'll talk to Phil exactly how it goes about doing it. Well, Phil, it's been a pretty good start to the morning. You got us up nice and early. It was bitterly cold, bit of ice this morning, but the sun's got out a bit now, so it's a little bit warmer. But you've already been amongst the fish, so it's looking good for the rest of the day. But what we've done is we've just sat back for 5 minutes. We're going to talk you through exactly what Phil's doing today, obviously river fishing for pike. So the first of all, Phil, I'm going to fire some questions at me. The main one for me is, where do you start? Because let's face it, most rivers is miles and miles of river. Are you just dropping in randomly, or where are you looking to fish?
There's definitely areas, I think, that hold the pike on these stretches of river. Deep bends are a big magnet for the pike. Yeah. The way I fish it, I mean, we're float fishing for the pike today, so we've got a very mobile approach. If I've sat in a spot for more than half an hour and I haven't had any indications, I'll keep leapfrogging along until I find the pike. Again, it does seem as if you're drawn to certain areas, bends and deep holes and things.
Perhaps
but
you caught it before. Or...
Yeah, but with the minimal amount of kit we're going, we'll just keep moving, and we should eventually land on some throughout the day.
Well, hopefully, like I say, we've already had a few. And how far would you leapfrog then? So say this is the first swim that we've been in today. So we've fished this, had a bit of activity. If it goes quiet for what, sort of 35, 40 minutes, you're going to leapfrog, yeah?
If I haven't had a bite within about half an hour of sitting in a spot, I'll probably move quite quickly. I find on these rivers that if you're on fish, you get a bite almost straight away when you move in the swim. So it's worth just keep moving and keep moving. If I get a fish, I'll stay put for a little while. Yeah. But as soon as it starts going quiet, I'll keep fairly mobile.
Yeah, that's quite interesting, because for me, not doing too much bite fishing, I sort of see them as quite solitary fish, but if you had one, you'd think nothing of dropping your baits back in and having another go. Yeah,
quite often you'll get a group of fish will sit in one area, whether it's because there's some roach or some prey fish there for them, but you will certainly you'll go along quite a bit of the river and find next to nothing, and then drop on a group of fish. So
it's definitely important then to stay mobile, give it a little while, and keep jumping around. But the next thing is, why have you chose to float fish? The obvious question.
Float fishing, the bite indication's brilliant. Yep. The minute your bait gets picked up, your float will start moving, which is very important with pike fishing. Another thing is, because we're very mobile, we don't have to bring so much kit. We just, with the rods, they can just be single bank sticks. Quite often on these upper rivers, you're fishing quite close in as well. So ledgering would be, the line angle, everything's a bit messy. You can just lay a float close in, and it's the perfect presentation. The main thing is so that we can take minimal kit, and the bite indication is perfect.
I must admit, I've seen it work. It's nice, sort of twitches, the float slides away, and it's so obvious that it's a bite, and you're seeing it early. And like you said, Kit, you've got a mat that I'm kneeling now, your chair, a couple of rods, so chuck your rucksack on the back, and you can generally sort of cover miles of the river quite quickly.
Yeah, I feel this type of fishing, it sounds a silly thing to say, but you are actually fishing. Yeah. I think sometimes you sit on gravel pits and you might get bogged down in one swim, and you end up sort of, like you say, more camping than fishing, but we are actually searching for fish and working a bit harder today to find some fish.
So no luxuries, no cups of tea, nothing like that. He's going to march us up and down the river all day, but it is good. So a little bit of detail on the rig then. So you're setting it up the same as you normally would, so you're sliding your float stop up as just basically rather than a stop knot. Yeah. The bead behind that, followed by your float, and then a quick change weight in your trace, is that correct?
Yeah, it's a real simple rig. Everything's got to be really strong. I use very strong clips.
Strong braid in your rig?
Yeah, my braid is 58 pound, and everything's sort of belt and braces stuff. But with any pike fishing, I never want to snap up and leave any hooks in a pike. Okay. So some people might think the gear's a little bit overkill, but it's overkill for a reason. It's got to be safe.
And then lastly, before I let you get cracking on, bait choice, what are you going for?
Well, we've had one little one straight away on a lamprey this morning. I've got a bit of everything in there, lamprey, some herrings, some sardines. I think with this style of fishing, it's all about location. Like I say, if you land on the fish, I don't feel as if I could reel in a rod on one bait, change it to another bait, and it'd get me a bite. I think the bites are there to be had if you can find the fish. As long as it's good quality bait, but the lamprey do take some beating.
And I must say, don't be scared of using quite a big bait, because I think Phil's probably fishing for the bigger ones. But every time I see you pike fish, you've got a big sexual lamprey, big herring, something like that. You don't go for small ones.
Go big or go home is the answer.
Well, hopefully that is exactly going to be the answer. We're going to get back onto the fishing, trundle up and down this river, and hopefully we'll be able to catch up again with another fish. Well, there we go. What a brilliant way to end an enjoyable day's fishing. Phil, you've marched me up and down the river about 4 or 5 miles, so I am well and truly done. But he's given you a bit of your street cred back. He's certainly bigger than the ones we've caught earlier. So, well, then we haven't weighed it. I know you're pretty good at guessing. What would you say?
I'd say it's mid-doubles, probably 15, 16 pound.
Certainly is a fish you'd recognise, perhaps a running with something when he's a bit younger, distinctive marking on there, but a great way to end. And if you're not out there already, getting on the rivers, get the float fishing gear out, because it has been enjoyable, and now is the perfect time to do it.
Not the most elegant, mate, but he's good.